The following program is intended for mature audiences.
We're able to create a two-headed dog with 6 legs.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportsshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Yeah! It's a shame that the Colorado Rockies moved, because that is actually a very good name. It's just
well, they still play baseball, so.
We got their best players, so screw them.
Yeah, speaking of that, Jesus, your Blue Jays, they moved into first place last night.
I know. I don't know how to feel about this.
Are you still pessimistic?
I'm still, yes, because they're going to screw it up. I know it. They're in first place now. This is just to raise everyone's hopes before they all come crashing down. I won't be happy until they win the World Series. At that point, I'll be, okay, maybe they've got it figured out.
So you're going to tell me that since they haven't done jack since 93.
Uh-huh.
So even if they get into, say, the wild card and make a nice little run, that's not going to be enough?
Okay, no. If they make it into the playoffs, I'll be happy.
Okay.
Because not only have they not won it since 93, they haven't made the playoffs since 93. So if they get to the playoffs, okay, then I'll be happy.
I don't know, man. I mean, those moves they made, Jesus, because they were mashing the ball to begin with before they got Tulowitzki and all that. Now they've got a solid number one starter, and they're still mashing the ball. And they've won 10 in a row, and they're better than the Yankees, straight up and down. It's as simple as that.
Well, I think a lot of teams are better than the Yankees. It just took the Yankees a while to realize that.
I'm liking this Toronto team a lot, man. This is one of the rare times where those deadline deals seem to have really worked, because they are just killing it right now. Look at that, 14 or 12 games over 500 now.
Toronto!
Wow.
This is just going to make the fall worse when it happens. This is just going to make it worse.
No, just enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride.
I'm sure you watch these guys. I mean, it's like watching a freaking softball team. I mean, they're just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I watch them.
David Price would have arguments with you for calling them a softball team, Greg.
Well, I suppose he probably would.
Did you hear about that?
No, what?
So, what's his name? Dallas Braden works for ESPN now?
Yeah.
I guess for the last 2 years he's called the way the Blue Jays play, which is trying to mash the ball all the time, as a beer league softball team.
I'm sorry, ESPN. We all can't be the Yankees and Red Sox and play 5-hour snooze fests.
Well, I say that as a compliment too, as in you guys. I mean, because they score runs like a softball team does, and that's not a knock. That's like, Jesus, you guys can really freaking hit.
It's exciting to watch. No, okay. It is exciting to watch. I am excited, but it's just this team does this every now and then where they get really, really hot and everyone's like,
when's the last time the Blue Jays were ever in first place, Mike?
Yeah, it hasn't been like this in a while, Mike.
They had a pretty, I think they were in first place last year and they had a pretty sizable lead before it all.
This late in the season.
No, that was during the Rob Ford. That was during the Rob Ford fiasco.
This is different. This is different. I'm telling you. Because they were pretty good before this. They were in wild card contention before this. And you look at the team now, they can hit the ball like crazy, and they're kind of modeled after the old Cleveland Indians of the 90s, except the one key difference is they have a lockdown number one starter that can win you a series. So what
you're saying is that they're fine as long as they don't have to play the Florida Marlins, okay.
Well, yeah, and I don't think you have to worry about that at all. Look at these standings. They're glorious for the most part.
No, they are.
Toronto's in first, Kansas City, Minnesota.
How the hell is Minnesota still hanging around?
I don't know, but they're only a game over. Jesus, they're 11 games behind the Royals now.
They're falling.
Yeah, they're falling hard. They're falling bad.
They're falling.
The New York Mets, who I think a couple of us predicted to have a good season, are in first place.
Yeah, I thought they'd be in wild card contention, but now they're 3.5 up on the Nats.
Yeah, they were another one, man. They picked up what's his name, Cespedes, and they've been kicking ass too.
I don't know how Tank's dealing with that, by the way.
Well, I guess it's still like being waterboarded on a nightly basis, according to his Avatar thing. So, yeah, you want to talk about a hard fall? Let the Mets blow this and watch what happens. Jesus.
Oh, God.
Remember those years where they dropped like 10-game leads in consecutive seasons?
I think that was the last time we actually legitimately had a suicide watch for Tank. Between that and Obama being reelected.
Yeah, those were the two worst for sure. But yeah, I think the Blue Jays, the team that I just, what's up with the Angels? Well, I guess I do know what's up with the Angels. They just don't have enough. It's as simple as that.
I don't know, man. They go through stretches where they look unbeatable.
Yeah, but.
And then they go through other stretches where they look like garbage.
I think they're as good as they're going to get, and I don't think it's good enough at this point. It might be time to blow it up and start over again. You got a good nucleus with, you got Mike Trout, which is, that's always a good start.
There's definitely certain guys you don't want to get rid of. You gotta keep Trout. You gotta keep Pujols, obviously. Cole Calhoun's been great. Eric Ibar is still extremely productive. Johnny G. Vitello's been okay.
Pittsburgh's 7 games behind St. Louis.
Speaking of that, okay, I wanted to bring this up today. I'm glad we got to this. I'm starting to develop a little bit of Cardinals hate, guys.
Oh,
thank you for joining the rest of the civilized.
Just a little bit. I was watching my Pirates on this 3-game series of playing with the Cardinals, and I'm like, you know what? This is starting to aggravate me just a little bit. Cardinals, I'm trying to hang with you here, but you're really starting to piss me off.
Well, because what do the Cardinals have?
They don't have a fucking thing. That's what kills me about it.
It's quadruple Jesus
and eight guys named Matt. Yeah, that's it. And I watched this, and I'm going, Jesus, God. They scored a run last night on just the most dumbass play. It was just
did all the Cardinals fans clap politely
oh,
that was a very good play.
Oh Jesus! Don't even get me started on that crew. Don't even.
No, I knew I hate the Cardinals for years, but I felt justified when in Kitchener, goddamn Ontario, I saw a Cardinals fan with his jersey tucked into his jean shorts. I was look, it's spreading. No.
I'm trying to think legitimately. What do they have on their team right now?
Matt Carpenter's hot right now. He's hitting pretty well. Okay, they've got Matt Carpenter's pretty good. He's a good, solid ball player, all right?
Michael Wacha's a pretty decent starter.
Pretty good pitcher. Trevor Rosenthal's a good closer.
Yeah.
All right, then you got Jason Hayward in right field. Good fielder. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat. I'm sorry. And then you go to, it's just aggravating me because it's like the Pirates, it's like, we're better than these guys. Why is this happening? I don't get it.
You know why? Because they play it the right way.
Oh, bullshit.
They probably hacked into the front offices of every
They got freaking lucky last night. But it was like, because usually, I've told you guys, I don't dislike the car. I like the team. The fans I don't care about. But last night I started going, it's happening to me. I'm becoming one of the haters.
This is where Andy would usually post that picture of the Emperor going, "That's your hate flow through you."
Yeah,
yes, give in to your anger.
It's happening, and I noticed it last night because it was just pissing me off because the Pirates would get out to a lead, and then the freaking Cardinals would just come back. I don't even know how they do it.
They came back through the power of wholesomeness and playing the game the right way, Greg. That's how they did it.
Because it sure looked to me like they scored a fucking lucky run off of an error that shouldn't have been made because you got freaking Pedro Alvarez at first base who has a Teflon glove that means nothing will stick to it. But here's what they have, all right? You got Matt Carpenter.
Right.
Of course you got Matt.
Pete Kozma. Come on, Pete Kozma. Brandon Moss. Johnny Peralta. Moss is okay, but he's not even starting for these guys. All right, he's a role player. Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny Peralta, Mark freaking Reynolds. If Mark Reynolds and I both had 500 at bats in a season, we'd both strike out about the same amount of times.
True.
Colton Wong. All right, listen to these names. Okay, Peter Borges, an Angels cast off.
Right.
All right. Randall Grichuk. I don't even know how to. Come on.
Right.
Jason Hayward and Steven Piscotty. Are you serious with this? Come on.
Wow. And they have the best record in baseball?
By a long shot, yeah.
I just don't get it. They're what the Oakland A's dream they could be.
Yeah. I look at it, I go, who are these guys?
And you know what? They don't the fan base doesn't deserve it. No, I'm sorry. Yes, intelligent, knowledgeable fan base, but so fucking smug. You don't deserve this.
You know what?
This lucky.
You know what?
You want to hear something? Hot take? I think St. Louis is, as a whole, is a shitty sports fan base.
Oh, snap!
They don't support the Rams.
Keep the train going.
Their football team is about to leave town, and they're calling shrug shoulders.
Put a pin in that. Remember the Rams thing, because I want to talk about that too. But go ahead, Zach.
The Blues have, they're a team that's been around forever. Supposedly has a good following. Also supposedly makes no money. They're always on shoddy financial footing, supposedly. And then the Cardinals are a bunch of dumpster people. So, I don't know. I think St. Louis just seems kind of like they're all just happy to have the sports teams. They use them as a nice, entertainment option, but I wouldn't call them like a diehard sports market.
I think, and I know every city with a pro sports team does this to some extent, but I think it's more so true of St. Louis. that St. Louis uses the existence of professional teams in their city to justify their own importance?
All I know is that I watch this team. I look at their record. I don't know how they're doing it because there's not what I would call a superstar on that team.
No.
Which is fine. Okay, there's a lot of teams that are made up of just a lot of good guys.
Superstar, Greg, because they play solid team ball.
But there's not even a guy. I mean, these are guys that just like I just don't get it. And
but like in the past, right? In the past, they had big name guys. They had Albert Pujols. They had Matt Holliday.
Right.
They've had Yadier Molina. They had Mark Mulder. Guys like that.
The only good news I see out of the NL standings is that Pittsburgh and Chicago are both wild card teams. And it pisses me off, though, because one of them has to lose.
But here's the thing. The Pirates can't find a way to beat these guys. That's the problem. And I realized it last night. I'm like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And I just noticed last night, I'm like, there's a little Cardinals hate creeping in here on me because I just don't understand this.
They're just a bunch of dudes.
And then
They're just a bunch of dudes. I bet you they all wear boat shoes and khakis.
Okay.
Patrick Kane is going to come up sooner or later. Might as well knock that out.
I saw that.
Might as well knock that out early.
Last I saw was that the girl, the alleged victim, I guess, showed up because she didn't want to go, but her friend did, so she went kind of as an escort. Well, that's probably a poor choice of words,
well,
isn't
basically, from what I understand, she didn't want her friend to be alone with Patrick Kane, which doesn't make Kane's case any easier.
Jeez.
Also, there was bite marks on the shoulders, scratches on her legs, which, Patrick Kane will just argue, no, it was just rough, consensual sex.
So this isn't looking good, is it?
A lot of the information that we seem to be getting seems to be leaking from sources close to law enforcement.
Okay.
Apparently that would indicate that they seem to think they have a pretty solid case against him.
It sounds like it. I mean, if there were bite marks, because they can check all of that. I mean, if they did the typical rape test on her, they're going to check under her fingernails. If she has bite marks, they can easily match that up to him.
You would think that they would have asked for a DNA sample from Kane, right?
Yeah, well, maybe.
If they have all this information pointing to him.
I'm sure they'll get to that. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I just don't understand it.
Everything from what I've heard about Patrick Kane indicates that he's got anger issues, and that's only made worse by alcohol. He just, he gets drunk and he just turns into a drunken, belligerent asshole, and that just manifests itself in the form of rape.
Jesus.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Blackhawks respond to all of this, the more information comes out, because they really can't afford to be silent on this, can they? Like, they can't just keep kicking the can down the road.
I think the Blackhawks are trying to take as much of a wait and see on this as possible.
But doesn't that aggravate the hell out of you?
It does, but at the end of the day, sports is a business, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I at least like to see them suspend him, because the great thing about the suspension option is, you can always walk back on it. If at the end of the day it turns out he's innocent, you can always just unsuspend him, or if it turns out that he's guilty, then you can cut him. But the suspension at least gives a sign that you're doing something about it.
Well, and suspending him right now doesn't make a whole big difference because there's nothing happening right now.
But training camp is a lot closer than we think it is.
Well, not only that, but from just a PR standpoint, you might want to take a little action right now. I'm looking at their roster right now. I'm going to come up with a name like, let's see here. If this were, Corey Tropp, I don't know if he's any good or not, but I think if it were him.
Well, he actually just got there because he was in the Brandon Saad trade.
Okay. Well, he's a perfect example then. If it was him, I don't think that they're waiting this long. And I'm not breaking any new ground by saying that. We all know that's the case with any sport, any franchise. It's not going to be any better if it was, let's say if it was Ryan Getzlaf with the Ducks or Ryan Johansson with the Blue Jackets or whomever. That's the way it's going to be, which is bullshit, but that's just what we got to live with. Do we know where they're headed with this? Is there any more news on as far as an arrest or anything like that?
No, I think
they're building it
because it is so high profile. They're trying to take their time as well, just to cover all the bases and not defame the guy. Although, here's the thing though: even if you were to get acquitted or no charges would be ever come of it, this will still follow him around.
Oh sure.
Even if he's playing for the Blackhawks next season, every single Blackhawks game, you're going to have guys in the stands yelling at him that he's a rapist.
The thing about Patrick Kane, though, is that he's got such a history with it. I mean, that's his biggest problem. Not from a legal standpoint. From a legal standpoint, yes, he's innocent until proven guilty, and the legal process will play itself out. That's not up for debate. But there's always two sides to this. There's always the public perception side of it. And I'm sorry, Patrick Kane's past behavior has really kind of left him with no wiggle room on that. People aren't going to give him, unless you're a Blackhawks fan, people aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt on it.
Well, probably not. That's just a shame, man. I mean, I feel bad for the girl because she's going to be, if this does go to trial, she's going to be the one that takes the worst of it and not him. I mean,
well, yeah, like I said, in the Kobe Bryant case, when that actually went to trial, I know a lot of Lakers fans were blaming the girl.
Yeah.
The other thing is Patrick Kane is still young, right? He's going to play hockey again. Even if he gets put in jail for it, it's still only, like a 3-year sentence max?
I don't know.
I can't see anyone signing him, though. Like that's
somebody will sign him. You know
that's
that.
toxic. Like,
you know, I don't know. In the NHL, I'm not so sure. In the NFL, yeah, the minute he's out, he's on somebody's roster. I'm not so sure about the NHL.
People haven't signed Ray Rice yet because Ray Rice is no longer a good football player. Patrick Kane is one of the top 3-4 players in the league right now.
But I'm just trying to think, like, as a team, how. And I'm not even talking about, like, the media circus aspect because it's fucking pro sports. Anything can turn into a media circus. Teams generally know how to handle that. I'm talking about the negative PR. I mean, you thought Michael Vick got a lot of heat when the Eagles signed him, from the folks at PETA and the Humane Society. I don't see how any team lives down being the team that signed a convicted rapist.
I have to agree. I mean, again, NFL, different story. Because I think we're conditioned with the NFL to put up with it or whatever you want to call it.
Fuck, there's no way the Canadian media would run any Canadian team that did it out of town.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know where he could sign? I think if there's a city that would be more welcoming to, like, bring him in and rehabilitate him or whatever, it'd be Buffalo.
See,
No, he's right. That Buffalo would. That would be the one place. I was either going to say Buffalo,
and it's not a
Buffalo or Los Angeles.
It's going to get skewered, right?
I was going to say Buffalo, Los Angeles, or just because nobody would give a shit, Florida.
The Florida's still there when he gets out.
Right.
True. Yeah.
He could get a 6-month sentence and we're not sure. I'm not putting any bets that Florida's still there when he gets out.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's all kind of contingent on what happens. If it's a Ben Roethlisberger situation where charges are dropped.
If you can present a case of even the slightest doubt to the fans, like say with Kobe Bryant or whatever, where you can say, look, technically he was never convicted. I think that's enough. A team could rationalize signing him using that.
A team could rationalize signing him if he's found innocent or not charged. And in my opinion, he stays with the Blackhawks if he's either found innocent or not charged. But if he's convicted, there's always going to be that discussion while he's in jail, like, do we just ban him from the league in the meantime? Do we just give him a lifetime ban? Like, that's going to be a discussion that's had.
This is all new water for the NHL, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
they haven't really had to deal with this in the past. I'm sure there have been plenty of guys that have done this before, but now it's just we're in a culture where all these sort of things are heightened.
Yep.
They're not swept under the rug.
Yeah, people are going to be less inclined to sweep this under the rug these days. And with Patrick Kane, again, that is something to consider. I mean, if he goes to trial and is convicted of rape, I don't think he comes back from that, honestly. Like, maybe a team like the Sabres signs him when he gets back, but even then, his career is never going to be the same at that point. But I think what's going to be really interesting is if there's some kind of deal struck for the girl for, like, some undisclosed amount of money, like he pleads down and she gets a ton of money.
Right then and there, everybody that wants to rationalize it's going to say, hey, look, she just did it for the money. And she got her cash, blah, blah, blah.
And then the Blackhawks, of course, on that point are going to say, oh, he served his time. Who are we to deny him his contract? But it's just a mess. And I think Zach's right. This is a league that has not had to deal with a lot of this, at least not to this extent and of this much exposure. So
yeah. And I don't remember a case of this ever happening where one of the biggest names in the league ever got in this kind of trouble.
Exactly. So, the kind of superstar athlete who sticks his dick where he shouldn't has not been a thing that the NHL has had to deal with.
director comes out and says, yeah, this movie fucking sucks.
Which movie is this? I missed
the
out.
new Fantastic Four.
Fan Four Stick.
It's so bad.
You know, that was one of my favorite comics as a kid, and I had such high hopes for the first movie, and it was such a disaster. And then this one came along.
No. This movie makes the first movie look brilliant.
All reports are that this thing is a dumpster fire.
It is so bad.
So I take it you went and saw this thing.
I saw it a few days after it was released. Like, I read all these negative reviews, and I'm like, oh, I gotta see this.
Right now, it has a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 9%. I don't think I've ever seen single digits for a movie, and not a serious movie anyway. Or
Fox?
Well, no, Greg, you heard what the director came out and said, right?
No.
He said, yeah, the movie sucks. That basically what he said is that he made a version of the movie that Fox and the editors didn't like.
Oh boy.
So they changed his direction on it. He made it one way. The studio said, no, we're going to do this instead. They did a whole lot of reshoots after, before the movie came out, and they told him not to show up to the reshoots.
Here's the great thing about the reshoots, right? Sue Storm, the character, has blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
The actress doesn't have blonde hair, but she dyed it blonde for the original shooting schedule. Okay? Well, I guess by the time that the reshoots happened, her dyed hair had grown out, so she wasn't blonde anymore. So instead of just re-dyeing her hair blonde, they're like, it's only going to be a shooting schedule for 2 days. So they got her this really bad Marilyn Monroe blonde wig.
No.
So you can tell all the scenes that were shot during the original production, she has natural looking blonde hair. But then for the reshoots, you can tell because she's got this really bad wig on.
Wow.
Really bad. It's sitting awkwardly on her head. It's so terrible.
This is from The Atlantic, the review. This iteration, directed by Josh Trank from Chronicle, is a dull, sour, claustrophobic mess. 80 minutes of tedious origin story followed by 20 minutes of more still tedious climax.
Yeah, they don't even have their powers for the first 2/3 of the movie, right?
It's ridiculous. You're sitting there, it's a 105-minute movie, right? When I was watching it, it suddenly dawned on me that I had been watching this movie for a long time and they were still in the origin story. We don't have our powers.
The Fantastic Four.
Yeah, exactly. So I look at my watch and it's we're an hour into the movie and they haven't become the Fantastic Four yet.
Jeez.
And it's is the plot gonna start?
Right. And then it isn't the climax, Dr. Doom just kind of comes out of nowhere and says, by the way, I'm gonna put a black hole in the planet.
Yeah, at some point, it's near the last 10 minutes of the movie, Dr. Doom just shows up out of nowhere. It's oh, hey, the world is bad and stuff. Black hole. Yeah.
Oh my God. And one of my biggest complaints too is, can we get over the origin story stuff? Most of the people that go to see these already know. I mean, if you got to do it in 5 minutes. And
this takes a solid hour for them to become the Fantastic Four.
Here's one. New York Post. Could the terrible reviews be helping Fantastic Four? It might turn into a cult classic. You never know.
I think it's too little too late. Fox's original projection was they were hoping the movie would make $50 million on its opening weekend. It made 26. And then people were like, well, maybe the international market will save it. And then it bombed there, too.
It made $9 million internationally.
Like I said, man, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 9% favorable rating. That's bad.
And the thing with these movies is, because of how fast social media goes now, people might have seen it the first day, but nobody's going to go see it on Saturday or Sunday. And then once everyone knows it sucks the first weekend, nobody's going to go see it the second week.
And I just want to put out there, people who were pissed off that they made the Human Torch black, look, that is so the least of this movie's problem. It's actually kind of sad because all of the principal actors do very good jobs. The acting isn't bad. It's the pacing and the writing that sucks. I would be fine with these actors playing the Fantastic Four if the movie was better.
And they changed up who Victor Von Doom was, right?
Yeah, he was originally supposed to be some anti-social computer hacker. You could tell that was all reshot because he's basically Dr. Doom from the comics now. But it fits really awkwardly because it doesn't really work for the rest of the movie. Dr. Doom is just Dr. Doom.
Some dude from Latveria that wants to go on a science experiment.
Yeah, Dr. Doom just shows up in the last 10 minutes of the movie and was like, I'm going to destroy the world, and I have powers to make a black hole now.
Isn't the guy that played Johnny, wasn't he Smash from Friday Night Lights?
No, he's Vince.
Right, Vince. Yeah, Vince. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Again, he did a good job. Like, the actors are all fine, but the movie sucks. The movie sucks so bad.
Well, and the good thing is Fox only has to make another movie by 2020 to keep the rights.
Yeah, people are saying that like this movie bombed so bad. Oh, Fox is going to give the rights back to Marvel. No, they're not, because Fox hates Marvel, and Fox is just going to lowball and like reboot it in like 5 years as some piece of shit movie, and they're just going to keep doing it.
That's the thing with these rights deals. It doesn't say anywhere in the contract that they have to make a good movie. They just need to make a movie.
I'm just so disappointed because, like I said, it was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Then I see they're going to do a reboot, and I thought, okay. And then early on, it's like they're going to do a reboot. It's going to be a darker, blah, 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 this and that. And as it progressed, you could kind of tell, like, this isn't going well. This isn't going well at all. And now we get this.
Well, there's no way. Fox originally said it was going to cross over with their X-Men franchise. There's no way they're letting this thing touch that.
Right, they're not going to let that thing drag that down.
No.
Because the X-Men is one of the better superhero franchises right now.
And then they say something terrible. It's the shitty movie, and then it ends on the worst moment when they're all at their lab. Reed Richards goes, I was thinking that we need a team name. And then the Thing goes, well, I don't know, but I do know all of this is pretty fantastic.
Oh, God.
And then it cuts to, like, the Fantastic Four title card, and then the credits roll, like, oh, fuck you!
How awkwardly do they work in It's Clobbering Time?
Oh, it's so bad. They show Ben Grimm when he's, like, 10, and, like, he has an abusive older brother who beats him up. It's like, hey, Ben, it's clobbering time!
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Reed Richards somehow, when Reed Richards is 10, somehow makes a teleporter out of discarded Nintendo 64s.
Nice. No, I'm just disappointed, man. Why can't they get this movie straight? What's the problem here?
They already made a good Fantastic Four movie. It's called The Incredibles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oregon might have glow-in-the-dark uniforms?
Yeah.
Our good friends at the University of Oregon, their football program. Now, I'm not sure if these are real.
They can't be. It's got to be a parody. Like, this is something that a parody would.
I don't think it's a parody. What I think it is, I think it's simply because these have been shown on posters.
Shit, that's kind of cool.
God damn it.
Okay, don't encourage them. What I think this is just something that was on the posters. Because in real life, having glow-in-the-dark uniform elements when you're either playing during the daylight or underneath stadium lights have no practical use whatsoever. Not even aesthetically. You wouldn't see it.
No, you wouldn't see it. You're right. The only time you would see it would be like if they killed the lights during the team intros and they came out. And I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them absolutely doing that. But other than that, it has absolutely no practical use whatsoever. But what about Oregon's uniforms does have any practical use? I think it's kind of cool looking.
No. Greg.
I'm not saying I want to make it a full-time thing. Do we have anything that even suggests that they might be real?
When they posted these things, get ready to light up the dark or something.
Oh. Well, I like in the article it says, however, the fact that we're even talking about this as a possibility should let you know where we're at when it comes to Oregon and their uniforms. This could very yeah.
I'd say just the state of NCAA uniforms, football uniforms in general. It's been a dumpster fire for years now. So yeah.
The only reason I don't think they would actually do this is because, again, you would never notice.
No, but see, Oregon is so high off of the smell of their own farts. Just look how they proclaim themselves national champions, even though they lose. That I could see them being like the ultimate hipster about uniforms. Like, they probably just look like they're wearing regular, completely plain black uniforms for the entire game, except for like the brief moment you see them lit up during the introduction to be like, Oregon, you look stupid. And they'll be like, no, man, you just don't get it.
I think the other thing this place could be is maybe like they could sell jerseys with this stuff on it. So as a fan, you'd be like, if you go to a party, it'd be like, hey, look, I'm glow in the dark. And it's like,
oh, who's the asshole with the glow in the dark football jersey?
I think it's a possibility, and I think that they're going to use it for like intros and stuff. Like at the tunnel, they kill the lights. It's like at a concert. The lights go down, and you look, and there's your glow in the dark football team. I do want to point out, though, to Oregon and their uniforms and all of that, We kicked your asses last year in the national championship game, so fuck off.
Well, again, Oregon did the same thing they did against Auburn. They went up against a traditional school with their stupid cutting-edge uniforms, and they lost.
Yes, they did.
So, you know what, Oregon? Maybe when you actually wear your school colors in a national championship game, you'll win one.
They've been in, 2 national championship games now, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
and the first time they both wore white and silver, I think, both times. Or
no, they wore they wore like Volt against Auburn. But
remember they had those crazy Volt socks and all that? Yeah.
But it was anthracite pants.
Anthracite pants and Volt, yes.
See, and I thought their uniforms last year looked really good. They weren't Oregon uniforms, but they looked sharp.
No, and like the green ones they wore in the Rose Bowl game were great.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to the white ones for the national championship game, even though they were the higher seed and should have worn the home uniform. But Nike said no. So.
Well, I think they wanted to get those red Ohio State jerseys out there too, because remember they came up with those new jerseys for the teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
it was a combination of things where they wanted both of them to wear the.
I found a defending the UCLA alternates.
What is it? What is he saying?
Quote, he defended that, really?
Yep. Quote, love the colors, and as far as an alternate goes, this is a good foundation.
Well, here's the thing. UCLA, despite my hate for the school and the football program, their regular jerseys.
Some of the best in sports.
Some of the best.
Absolutely.
At least in college sports.
Absolutely.
Definitely. The baby blue with the curly numbers and the gold helmets and the stripes.
I never liked the curly numbers.
I like the curly numbers. They're
you know, Mike, I never thought I liked them either until they went away from them and went back to this regular like block font numbers, and I thought, you know what, these don't look as good as the curly numbers do. The curly numbers are so uniquely UCLA that you got to have them.
I guess, I don't know. I've always preferred
But that's what I don't get. You know, some of these teams like UCLA and I mean, just some of the best uniforms in football are like traditional college football uniforms.
Yeah,
look at like LSU. I mean, God, they look great.
The thing is, some of these uniforms, they're not for us.
No.
They're not even really for the fans.
No.
They're for recruiting.
Yeah, but do you really want a person that at your college that looks at that and goes, that looks good?
If you can score touchdowns, what does it matter?
My question is, you know, if you're a kid and you're a highly touted football prospect, you know, the school you choose to play for at university is a big career move. Like,
yeah.
Who's making that decision based off of uniforms?
Sadly, a lot of kids do.
Like, if you're a kid like that's being recruited by UCLA and Oregon and whatever. Just say you're recruited by a bunch of schools all at once, and every situation is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a decision somehow. And so if you say, "Well, I'm going to look super fly," or "I'm going to have so much swag wearing this alternate jersey," you're going to go there because you're going to look awesome.
Anyone who makes a decision based off of that deserves to break their leg and then just
yeah.
Well,
I mean, you know, say nothing about, well, I'd rather live in Southern California versus Ohio, or I would rather live in, or, you know, I'm going to be the starting running back here as opposed to the backup running back over here, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's why I've never understood why we are even able to field a decent football team at Ohio State. Because I know if it were me and they were recruiting me, I'd be like, I'm going to UCLA, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Hawaii. I ain't staying here, man.
There's a lot of cachet with Ohio.
Okay.
Like Ohio State. Like, there's a lot of cachet playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes, even if it is Ohio.
The Ohio State Buckeyes, the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't have to sell me on the Buckeyes and the whole tradition thing, believe me.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing, is like some of these schools don't have the overwhelming tradition to market, so they got to market themselves as cool and hip. So they make these jerseys. I
suppose.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not aimed at us. It's aimed at people far younger than us. And
right.
I don't even know who it's aimed at.
And some people are like, I don't want to play for the old dusty school. I want to go play for the new hotness.
Uh-huh. Well, we saw the new hotness
that doesn't win national titles.
Right.
So,
we saw the new hotness did in the national championship game last year. So knock yourselves out, guys. I'll stay with the old and dusty and shine up that old dusty ring that we won last year.
The great thing I love about Oregon though is I don't know if it happened again, but I know like when they lost to Auburn, a giant billboard that they had to move to their practice facilities was photographed, and it was like champions don't bow to tradition. Champions make new ones.
Yeah, well,
and it was like after they had lost.
You sure as hell bowed to tradition last year, guys.
And it's like, oh, they had these made up before the game, didn't they? Oh.
I get to go into this football season as a reigning national champion. That's going to be nice.
Yeah, enjoy that until they lose to Virginia Tech again.
Didn't matter last year, did it?
It should have. Should have been TCU's spot, damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Oh, Mike dragging that one out. Well done. Take it away, Zach.
Into it. We could talk about Geno Smith getting punched in the face.
How do you like that? You're already out of... Well, you probably weren't in contention to begin with.
Right.
And now your starting quarterback is out for 6 to 10 weeks because somebody punched him in the face.
It's funny because that happened right after I had read the Admirals' rundown of every NFL team. And then for the Jets, he was like, they're always in some sort of tabloid scandal. It's like, Geno Smith gets punched by teammate, breaks jaw. Oh, okay. I guess there it is.
They had a starting quarterback.
And I just want to make an announcement really quick about the Jets. They were in the running as my new AFC team this year, but not after this. Sorry. You just knocked yourselves right out of contention.
In a locker room fight, IK NM Kapali punched starting quarterback Geno Smith in the jaw, breaking his jaw for 6 to 10 weeks. Which means the new starting quarterback for your New York Jets, Ryan Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what he did with, was it the Bills for like 3 weeks at one time?
Yeah, the Texans last year.
Fitzmagic for 3 weeks was on fire. They gave him a shit ton of money, and then it fell off the cliff.
Right. Isn't that the greatest thing ever, though? I mean, come on.
He doesn't care. He got his money.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm catching those checks. I don't blame him.
So, that's a pretty interesting story.
Well, how do you feel though if you're a Jets fan? Seriously, I mean,
it never ends with the Jets. It's always something. It's always, and it's never something subtle. It's always a tabloid sensation, and they deliver. Like, starting quarterback gets punched out by teammate and breaks his jaw. Like, fantastic.
Over $600, by the way.
Yes,
got to get that in there.
$100. How much are these guys making exactly? Yeah.
So, who was the head coach for the New York Jets, if you remember?
Rex Ryan.
And he's coaching now for the
Buffalo Bills, another contender.
By Kessel, by the way.
So, Rex.
We were so wrong. God almighty, we looked like idiots.
Rex likes to, things weren't great when he left the Jets. So he wanted to needle his former employer a little bit. So guess who he picked up on waivers yesterday? The guy who punched out Geno Smith.
Rex is going to be fun in Buffalo, I think.
I'm sticking by a prediction I made months ago that the Bills are going. It's a long shot, but I think the Bills beat out the Patriots for the AFC East.
Really?
It's East title.
Wow, no, that is a bold prediction, Mike.
I think Rex Ryan's going to get their defense in shape, and I think Matt Castle is a capable game managing quarterback, and I think if anyone knows how to give Tom Brady fits, it's Rex Ryan. It's a Rex Ryan run defense.
Well, this is true. All good points.
Maybe it's only by a game. Maybe it's by the slimmest of margins, but I think the Bills upend the Patriots.
I hope you're right. I do. And I just want to point out the Bills are a team that are on in contention for my new favorite AFC team. So
I mean, look at those uniforms.
Oh, my God, they're beautiful. Yes. All right.
They just need a gray face mask and it'll be perfect.
I thought they had a gray face mask.
No, wait, no, it is a gray face mask.
It is a gray face mask, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because certain malcontents can't stop complaining about it.
Yeah, Zach, where do you stand on the gray face mask thing, by the way?
It works for some and doesn't work for others.
Yes, that's where I'm at, too. But I have no problem with a team like the Bills using it. But anyway, I'm sorry, I totally derailed us. Where were we?
We're talking about Rex Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any other NFL things?
I just wanted to talk about that beautiful preview that Deadspin did of the Cleveland Browns.
Go for it.
I just want to say, if you get a chance to check it out. There's never been a more dead-on description of that football team that I've never read in my entire life.
They predicted the Browns to win the Super Bowl, of course, right?
Yeah, right.
I preferred the Admirals' take on the Cleveland Browns myself. The closing line for his Cleveland Browns summary, their star quarterback is already in rehab for alcoholism.
My favorite part of that, yeah, that's true. My favorite part of that whole thing was when he said, reasons to root for the Packers if you like beards. Or Beard's named Olivia Munn, which just cracked me up. I don't think anybody else got the joke, but I did.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Have you seen the ad campaign for Wyatt Scott?
I think I know what this is.
I haven't seen that yet.
You're going to love this if it's the one I'm thinking of, Mike. Go ahead, Zach.
He's a Canadian. Supposedly, I haven't actually had a chance to watch the full ad. In the ad, it features dragons, giant geese, robots, laser eyes, and much, much more.
This guy needs to defect and run for president of the United States.
He's riding a giant Canadian goose.
As is appropriate.
He's got, like, Excalibur. Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. This is awesome. Look at him. He's like, oh, my God. This is the greatest thing.
So...
I thought he just stabbed the goose in the neck. Okay, all right. That would have been bad.
Would this make you want to vote for this man? Does this make him qualified to lead your nation?
Yes.
I would vote for this man. He just grew a beard out of nowhere. Come on.
Well, as any good Canadian can, of course.
And then he just defeated a robot with laser vision.
This is great.
A new gold standard of campaign advertising.
Indeed. Speaking of Canada and things that would apply to Mike's interests,
mm-hmm.
Do you remember your favorite former Maple Leaf, Mike?
Wendell Clark.
Wendell Clark, yeah.
Well, I mean Phil Kessel.
Oh, yeah.
He got his first picture with the Penguins taken.
This poor bastard.
I know. He looks so dopey.
This poor bastard.
Well, Phil Kessel looks like Phil Kessel generally does, just kind of like,
no.
Here are a couple links to what people have done with this first picture of Phil. They've put him in many a photoshopped situation.
Oh, no, Phil.
Poor Phil. There he Oh, poor Phil.
So, Phil Kessel is part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Phil Kessel participated in a royal wedding.
I love the creative uses, though, of his Team USA publicity shot.
Yeah, I love the first one there on the TSN link. Him in the art gallery staring at a photo of him in his Team USA jersey.
Oh, this is great with him and Muriel Lemieux. The cup.
Yeah.
Oh, Phil.
There he is at the end of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope
Lee Harvey Oswald won his fucking poetry.
I sincerely hope that Phil Kessel is enjoying the hot dogs in Pittsburgh.
I sincerely hope Phil Kessel's enjoying himself at all, because you can never tell.
Yeah.
Pick your favorite. We're going to use it for the cover photo of this week's show. So which one do we like?
It's got to be the one of him staring at his Team USA picture.
Okay,
yeah,
that's the one we shall use then. Here, let me get it here. Bass 289 pick. Okay, what's next?
Do you want to talk about an arrest or interesting animal facts?
I want to go with animal facts. I'm tired of arrests.
Okay.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm good.
Interesting animal facts. So, there are...
Oh God! I know where. Why did I do this? I know where this is going now. Jesus! All right, go ahead.
Somebody put together a list of 9 animals that masturbate, other than human beings.
If I had been paying attention, I would have come with the arrest. Go ahead.
So here's the list. First off, are primates.
Oh, of course.
Of course, that makes sense, as we are also primates. Next on the list, though, is cetaceans, otherwise known, you might know them as dolphins. They don't have hands, obviously, but they manage to masturbate anyway by rubbing their genitals on things. The sea floor, the walls of their tanks.
So basically, they're any 13-year-old teenager then, basically, right? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of. I guess elephants are also in this crew as well.
Now, how does an elephant masturbate? I hate to ask this, but I'm going to anyway.
Well, it actually has a prehensile penis that allows it to navigate into the female's vagina, or masturbate by repeatedly striking its erect penis against its belly. The next one on the list is a walrus. I guess walruses will rub their front flippers over the shaft, or they'll auto-fillate because it's just that big. Rodents.
Bats? No shit, bats.
I guess so. Young male vampire bats and male fruit bats have been seen pleasuring themselves with their tongues.
And
good for them.
Turtles? Oh, that's disgusting. That picture of the turtles, I can't unsee that now.
Yeah, lizards, and turtles, and penguins.
Oh, God.
Well, we've reached a new high here on the show, folks.
These are the things you come to Basically a Sports Show for.
That's right. Forget the sports stuff. This is what you're really here for.
You come for the sports and stay for the Basically.
Right. I think that's probably as good a note as any to end the show at this point. Any final thoughts? I mean, I don't know where we go after the animals that masturbate, but we can sure try.
It's an interesting thing to note.
I just think it's interesting that they had to lump primates under one heading, or else it would probably just all be monkeys.
And on that note, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. You can go to our website and listen to this episode or other episodes at basicallyasportshow.com. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and the YouTubes. And that's all I've got to say for this week because I really don't know where to go from there. So with that, we'll see you next time.
See ya. God damn it.
Bye. Spay and neuter your pets, folks.
Please hang up and try again.